Yo, how y'all doing, man? I'm back and I'm ready to react. If you are new, I go by Hunter Houdini. You could call me Houdini for short. It's nice to meet you. Hopefully your day is going good and hopefully your day is going well. And yeah, if you can't tell by the title, man, we are here. We are back with part three of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, a courtship of rivals, man. Hey, those first two parts was really good, man. I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't even know, especially in that second part. Like I didn't even know so much about Larry Bird's background. I didn't know about his father passing and all that. So yeah, I'm learning a lot. But yeah, let's get into this part three, man.
The league was rejoicing too. Game 7 of the '84 series was one of CBS's highest-rated telecasts of the year.
Hopefully that went too
The
loud.
highest-rated game the NBA had ever produced.
All of a sudden, whether it was at CBS or Madison Avenue, the sports writers around the country became phenomena. What is happening here? The absolute foundation in this resurgence was the Celtics and the Lakers, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
But Magic was in no mood to bask in the accomplishment.
I took a media beating. Tragic Magic.
Dang.
This is why we say Larry Bird is better. It's probably the first time ever in my life I
Dang.
was depressed. And I didn't want people to see me. It was something I never dealt with in my life.
That particular series, that champ.
That's kind of crazy. That they was calling him washed after losing. Dang, like I feel like if you go against Larry Bird, like they can't call you washed. Like it's just Larry Bird just was a better player at the time. Like man, calling him washed is crazy.
Series redefined his whole career because he never stopped working after that.
Magic was on a mission to prove to himself and the world that with the ball in his hands, he was still the one in control. And after his Lakers ran through the '85 season, he quickly got what he wanted. Another shot at Bird and the Celtics.
Okay.
They won the East, we won the West. So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
But that smile belied the intensity
Ooh.
of the clash that awaited.
If I had a glass of water,
So this is the
and
second
any
time
of
them
those
playing.
guys had been on fire, I would have drank the water and watched them.
They called us, chokers and sissies. We didn't like that, and they thought less of us. I knew they did.
In '85, we played
Yo, this is crazy. Hold on.
And they thought less
Why
of
he
us.
tried to?
I knew they did.
He tried to try Bird. Bird wasn't going for
85,
it.
we played them 4 times in exhibition season for some reason. I don't know why they scheduled that. By the 4th game, there was an all-out brawl.
Dang.
They call this one of the greatest rivalries in all of sport, the Celtics and the Lakers. And if that is true, it is the most one-sided rivalry in all of sports. 8 times these two have met for the NBA championship, and 8 times the Celtics have won.
Dang. So the Celtics was just spanking him.
But in the '85 finals, Magic changed the script. Over 6 grueling games, he masterfully controlled the pace with all-around brilliance.
He has a triple-double again.
Dang, triple double.
Behind their point guard, the Lakers finally knocked out the Celtics, winning the clinching game in the Boston Garden.
3 in 6 years. LA
Dang,
comes
he
to
won it in
Boston and wins the world
Boston.
title.
Okay. So this is the Lakers' second title with Magic.
For one Magic Johnson. It's a long year last year to wait for this moment right now.
Magic had evened the score with Bird on the NBA floor. But the
Okay.
significance of their rivalry and their relationship was still just taking hold.
Dang.
You crazy. I said, you're crazy. I'm not shooting no commercial with Larry. So I said, okay, what, we're going to shoot it in L.A.?
I would never went to LA to film it.
Well, where are we going to shoot it?
Down
You
in
want to shoot a
French.
commercial? Come to my house.
I was like, oh no.
So Bird ain't want to leave his home.
One
Magic
stoplight.
wasn't leaving Hollywood.
And I thought Lansing was small. I think the plan was, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm trying to get up out of here. My plan was that.
Even after Converse had convinced Magic and Bird to film a sneaker ad together in the summer of '85, a question remained. How would the two hated rivals on the court get along off of it?
I don't know how he's going to react. I don't know how I'm going to react. We didn't even shake hands, so how are we going to do a commercial together?
The ad was to be filmed at the home Bird had built for his mom. It featured a full-length basketball court, the day's
nice
first
house.
location.
So they say, okay, you're playing one-on-one, and I'm looking at Larry, and he's looking at me like, is this real? Are we playing? Because, you know, this is Magic and Bird.
I could just hear.
That's funny. They probably competitive, so they not gonna want to play around for the commercial, and one of them probably not gonna want to lose for the commercial either. That's funny.
Larry, starting in on, well, you bring it to the basket, and I'm going to send it 30 rows up.
So the guy was like, no, not like that. A fun game. We were both like, oh, okay. Like, like you can see this relief coming over both of our faces.
That brief détente led to the next stage, dialogue.
We sat down next to each other. How was your summer? Oh, it's going good. How was yours? It's going great. He said, man, it's a nice spread you got.
And he's asked me, is this where you play? I said, yeah, I play here if it's not windy. If it's raining or windy, I go to the gym. But this is where I do all my work.
I see that tractor. You work on the tractor? He said, man, I work on this tractor every day. Larry Bird work on a tractor? He said, yeah.
It's just them two walking and talking, and every once in a while they'd stop and one of them would say something, and then they'd start laughing.
Hold on. Because Larry Bird kind of go taller than Magic right there. Hold on. I know they walking down like a hill, but Larry Bird could go taller.
And every once in a while they'd stop and one of them would say something, and then they'd start laughing.
Then they said, okay, break, it's lunch break time. I was going to my trailer. He said, no.
Riding the ATV.
My mother has prepared lunch for us up at the house.
We went up to the house and we sat down there and we talked. And my mom, my brothers thought the world of him.
His mother was so nice, making sure I had enough to eat. I just saw my mother. It was crazy.
He charmed her. You can see it. But that's Magic. He makes everybody feel welcome and warm, and he's a con man.
And while Magic charmed Georgia Bird, it was someone else who intrigued her son.
He met Irvin at lunch.
Irvin is a good dude. I like Irvin a lot better than Magic.
I was just so happy to finally be Irvin with him, because Magic was like, I don't know if I want to get to know this guy. But Irvin got a chance to talk about family, how he grew up. We just became two relaxed guys, just talking.
That day was great. It was a great day. Beautiful day.
Still, for Bird, ever the competitor, that's all it was, just one day.
Magic thinks the next year, okay, well, now we're great friends, so, after the game, we're going to go out, we're going to have a beer, and Larry's like, no, you're right. I know you better. You're a good guy, but I still don't want anything to do with you.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy. If me and him got to be really good friends, go out on the court, he could still play the same game. I couldn't. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, Larry had to
But
lock
when
in.
the ad hit the airwaves, for others, the perception changed.
I saw those limousines going through the cornfields, and I said, no, they didn't sell themselves out.
I heard Converse made a pair of Bird shoes for last year's MVP.
Yep.
But they made a pair of Magic shoes for this year's MVP.
Okay, Magic, show me what you got.
Well, this is really a business thing.
The Bird shoe, the Magic shoe.
And maybe that's where the business thing started to get bigger and began to trump who they both really were.
So that's what it really was called, the Bird shoe and the Magic
The
shoe?
whole idea of lunch bucket versus Hollywood, white versus black, just cemented all the differences between them.
Kids weren't wearing black gym shoes because they didn't want to be associated with the Larry Bird camp. You wore your white Converse.
The basketball rivals had morphed into cultural warriors, and race, more than ever, had become an unavoidable part of the conversation.
Yo!
But nothing about Bird and Magic had ever been as simple as black and white.
Yeah, man. Bird had to be 6'10". I know some of y'all were saying they had him. Some were saying he was 6'10". He had to be, man, because ain't Magic 6'9". He looked taller than Magic, man. Bird had to be 6'10", man. He had to be.
One of the big reasons this rivalry became so emblematic of so many things is because it was an easy dichotomy for people to understand. But it's crazy to simplify it as saying white people like Bird and black people like Magic because 13% of the country is black. But it wasn't like 87% of basketball fans preferred the Celtics.
Who's your favorite basketball player?
Magic Johnson.
Who's your favorite movie star?
Eddie Murphy.
Pina, all you ever talk about is nigga this and nigga that. And all your favorite
that's
people are
Spike Lee.
so-called niggas.
It's different. Magic, Eddie, Prince are not niggas. I mean, they're not black. I mean, let me explain myself.
Has the N-word ever been used by a white person to describe Irvin? I doubt it.
But as Magic enjoyed his image as a crossover star, it was Bird, the one-time great white hope, who had further emerged as the polarizing racial figure, due in part to that era's increasingly conservative political climate.
The rolling back institutionally of the achievements of the civil rights movement were going on apace from about 1975 on. But the triumph of the movement that rolled it back took place in the 1980s. And I think there was people who were very aware in the black community of what was going on. And I think there was a lot of sublimated frustration. And I think one of the ways it got sublimated was into basketball. And I think Larry, through no fault of his own, was the receptacle within which the lingering resentments somehow floated.
And after Bird led the Celtics to the championship in 1986, his third in the pros, winning his third straight MVP award in the process, the resentment grew.
I always felt that the press was biased in favor of Larry Bird. It always felt to me like they were gonna make Larry the hero. You know, you'd see somebody score and Larry would be in a cast in a suit on the bench and they'd say, Larry Bird made that possible a couple weeks ago when he told that guy he could do it, and he just did it.
Yo, it's crazy now. Like, I'm seeing a lot of like similarities, come like a lot of comparisons to what's going on now with what's her name, with Caitlin Clark. Like, it's a lot of similarities that's aligning. So that's actually crazy. But and Larry Bird's a fan. Larry Bird's actually good. So it's like I feel like it's deserving of him like getting all the coverage because he's actually good. Like the highlights I've seen, the stuff I've seen, like he's been able to back it up. Like so it's not like he doesn't deserve all the
Get his motherfucker the
credit.
assist and he not in the game?
Not to be racist, but we have a white guy who's the best in the world. It's predominantly a black sport now, and you got a guy like Larry Bird who can't run, who can't jump, but can do everything out there.
That don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean anything to me. It never has. I don't know why. I mean, am I doing something wrong here?
Bird may have sought to avoid the conversation entirely, but the more he won, the less he could escape it.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. What a play by Bird.
In 1987, after Boston beat the Detroit Pistons to advance to the finals for the fourth straight year, Pistons rookie Dennis Rodman called Bird overrated because he was white. His teammate Isaiah Thomas then chimed in with some thoughts of his own.
I think Larry is a very, very good basketball player. I think he's an exceptional talent. But I'd have to agree with Rodman. If he was black, he'd be just another good guy.
I can remember in the locker room, I think it was Jack McMullen came up to me and said, Isaiah just said, boom, 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 boom. And I go, so?
He didn't care. He didn't care. Everybody else around him cared very deeply in the days and weeks as it turned out ahead.
I mean, the media made it out like it was something. But it didn't matter to me what Isaiah or Dennis Rodman said. And it still don't. It has no bearing on what I do in my life.
He doesn't see race. He really doesn't. And he could have. This guy grew up poor, white, in southern Indiana.
Yeah.
Southern Indiana, the home, by the way, of the modern Ku Klux Klan. How he managed not to be affected by the cultural milieu that he grew up in is, I think, a miracle. To me, it's inexplicable.
When I was in about 6th or 7th grade, I couldn't wait till school to be over because I knew over on the courts, the waiters from the hotel would be over there. They were black, older, and they let me play. You know, I always looked at that as I got an opportunity to play against a black man, and they treated me good. I couldn't wait to play against the best, and at that time, they were the best.
And in 1987, as Bird vied with Magic to be the best, the flap over Isaiah Thomas's racially fueled remarks forced Bird to address his least favorite topic at the worst possible time.
I had to go to a press conference when we was in LA trying to get ready to play the Lakers and tell people I didn't care, this don't bother me.
The main thing is if the statements or whatever was said doesn't bother me, I don't think it should bother any of us.
From playing all year trying to get back to the finals and play against Magic, this was a distraction.
Bird was facing off against Magic for the third time in 4 years. And if their relationship had softened, the determination to beat each other had not. As Game 4 proved, the level of competition between them was higher than ever.
Yeah, I was about to say that because now they done got to know each other a little bit. They done met each other's family. So, hey, man, it's going to get serious now. They both know what they playing for.
Bird played awesome down the stretch of that game.
Trailing 2-1 in the series, the Celtics were down by 1 point in the final minute of the game. But Larry Bird wouldn't be easily vanquished.
Open his age.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake. Can't leave him open in the corner.
With 7 seconds left, though, the Lakers still had life. 3 years earlier in the '84 finals, Magic had flubbed a similar situation. But this was a different Magic, one with a whole new bag of tricks.
My man switched to Kareem, and Kevin McHale jumped out to me. As soon as I saw Kevin,
that's a mismatch,
I said, I'm taking him.
You know, Magic puts it on the floor, a couple head and shoulder fakes, and he raised up in the air.
That's the hook.
And there was nobody.
I think we seen this in the
Who was
highlights.
gonna get that shot.
Hit him with the hook.
I remember after they called timeout thinking, there's still a shot here. Celtics may still win this game.
Well, they set up a great play. Bird walked Worthy all the way up, forced the denial all the way up.
We've done it before. Clear everybody out, go to the ball and break to the corner.
Oh, he caught it here, and as he caught
they
it,
gave
all he
him,
had
they
to
gave
do
him a
was
little
turn.
too much space.
He just turned, and he just let this thing go.
Bird fires it.
Got a wide open look, couldn't believe it.
And I'm standing right there, it is straight as an arrow.
Did he make it?
Dead on.
Oh, man.
They were lucky because
Wow.
they were right on line.
He looked at me like,
Man.
how did you ever leave me that wide open?
You gotta be kidding me. Changed the whole series.
That's funny because normally a player gets mad that they miss a game with it. He's not even mad that he missed it. He's mad that they left him that open. That's even funnier. Oh,
the Lakers
man.
won the series
Very
in
funny.
6. And in the aftermath of a year in which Magic had won his first MVP, the rivalry suddenly took on a new tone.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
I was shocked that he said it because I thought to myself, maybe this is the beginning of a new era that's not going to include him. It was the passing of the torch a little bit.
After vanquishing Bird in '87, Magic wasn't done winning. The following year, he squared off in the finals against his good friend Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons, beating them to become the NBA's first repeat champions in 2 decades.
Wow.
By the dawn of the '90s, he'd won 5 titles, played in 8 finals, and equaled Bird's MVP tally of 3. But the more Magic won, the less Irvin seemed to be around to reap the spoils.
Once I tasted the champagne and the championship, I wanted more of that and more of that. So Magic kept growing because we were successful. And the persona and all of that came with that.
Yeah, he out in Hollywood.
The Prince of LA was now the king. And in Hollywood, being royalty had its perks.
What was Irvin Johnson's vice? Now, you know my publicist wants me to say winning. But women loved Irvin.
Back then, before voicemail, they used to have these mail slots in the hotels where you leave your key. And when we get into a town, Irvin's mail slot would be so packed, and it would be just Susan and a phone number, Linda and a phone number, Joyce and a phone number. I mean, that was every city, every time.
I was on top of my game as
Man, Magic was cutting up.
So I needed all that around me at that time. The women, the this, the that, Hollywood.
Magic was living in a context of sybaritic excess from the minute he walked in the door, and he developed a sweet tooth for it.
Sex with several women at the same time.
Yeah. Like I said, women have different fantasies. Some want to be with 2 or 3 at a time. You know, one time I had 6 at one time. That's just...
I really do.
Whoa. Nah, Magic is cutting up, man. Magic was in LA cutting up. That is crazy. Wow.
Believe he looks upon Magic Johnson as a movie character he played. I think Irvin got overwhelmed in LA by what it meant to be a star.
That's probably true that the Magic ego swallowed Irvin a little bit, but that's okay because I couldn't win 5 championships without that.
Through all of this haze of women and money and fame and fortune, he still kept basketball at #1. He never seemed to lose that focus.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
He had first heard it in 1985, building the driveway at his mom's house back in French Lick.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of a process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. And I was like, wow.
As Magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down. His deteriorating back and punishing style of play proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92, it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do. There'd be days he could come in the office and he couldn't stand up straight.
But even after 2 ruptured Achilles tendons and surgery on his back in 1991, Bird kept going to work. Product of a lesson learned many years before, seeing the swollen ankle of a man long since gone.
Well, we don't know if it broke or not, but it looked broke to me. I had to go to work and he had to get his boot on, and it took everything I had to help him get that boot on his foot. And he stood up limping, and he says, well, I'll see you this weekend, because he was working construction at the time. And I was pretty amazed how he could fight through that all week, then come home on the weekend, and it was black and swollen, and he'd sit around on the weekend and put that boot on and go again. If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in a door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
Every time I would play, I was wondering if I was going to be in a wheelchair. Was I ever going to be able to, you know, walk on the beach or hold my kids?
His pain and his quest for basketball became all-encompassing. Very few people really knew what Larry was living with.
Injury right there, like here,
because this
was
was
hurt the
Larry's
most.
issue, and there was no sharing of his pain.
You know, I probably should have retired in 88, 89, but it's that competition. Maybe one more chance, me and Magic get together in the finals, but it never happened.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sleeping.
We're gonna stop it right there. But yeah, I seen a lot of that I think it was 5 times Larry Bird played injured, didn't quit. I had reacted to that, so I seen a lot of that about his back injury and stuff. But yeah, man, let's do a little recapping. So what's crazy Well, I'm gonna cover what we just saw. What's crazy is the injury. So like now I see like what y'all mean when y'all say like Larry Bird has like mental toughness, because like it's all gonna be mental for him to still play, because you gotta look at it like he's like all he's doing in his free time is taking care of his house, mowing the lawn, helping his mom. He's just living a simple life, and then he's seeing Magic just like going crazy in LA on every commercial and everything. You would think like, oh, he's distracted. He's not, but Magic is steady winning, and then Larry Bird is like struggling through injuries, and he's doing like simple stuff. So like, it's just crazy. Like, you really got to have a lot of mental toughness to just get through that, because that's his rival. So of course he wants to be there to beat him and compete against him, but he's dealing with injuries off like just doing simple stuff at his house, taking care of his house. So that's crazy, man. But man, and earlier, like a lot of the similarities I was seeing with Caitlin Clark and Larry Bird, it's crazy how that works, because it's like they be saying like when a white player is like good, that it's like a lot of bias. But it's like I don't think it's too much as like bias. I feel like because it's like players like black players has been like good for the longest, so it's like when there's like a white player that's good, they're like they got to be really good. Like that's how I see it. I see like they got to be really good. Like, you got like Dirk Nowitzki, he was really good. You got Luka Doncic, really good. Like it's players that had to be really good for them to even stand out. Cause you don't see normally they just not posting everybody. Like, so you gotta be really good. So that's why I feel like it wasn't as biased, because Bird was really good. So that really, and that's why I feel like it's similar, because Caitlin Clark, she's really good. Like she's beating a lot of the best teams, a lot of the good teams. Like she's really good. So it's not just, I don't see it as like just bias because they're white and all that. But yeah, that was a lot in that, what you call, in this part. We got one more part remaining though, so stay tuned for that, man. Till then, Hancho Denny, he's gone.